Hello and welcome back to Jamie's Wee Podcast. On today's episode, I have the wee German pocket rocket Nini, and she is here to talk about the brand new card game which she has created called iconnect, Stronger Than Wi-Fi. Now, the concept of this game is to get people off their mobile phones and to get back to having face-to-face social interactions and conversations by asking a series of different questions which range from fun to the deep and meaningful. We discuss the social and the mental impact that mobile phones have had in our lives and the benefits of having deep and meaningful conversations without the need for Wi-Fi. Nini is full of energy and this game is a lot of fun, so I'm really looking forward to sharing this episode with you. As always, please show some love by hitting like and subscribe on whatever channel you find this podcast on, and all reviews and comments, good and bad, are welcome. Also, if you want to slip me a wee dime and show some financial support for this podcast, then please check out www.patreon.com/Jamie's Wee Podcast. Other than that, I hope you're all happy and healthy, and as always, thank you for taking the time to listen to Jamie's Wee Podcast. Much love. Nini.
Quarantini.
Nini Quarantini.
Actually, we created that name together.
I think we did. That was back at Cocoa Pants.
Cocoa Pineapple Pants.
Cocoa Pineapple Pants. That's when I became your very first friend in Bali.
My very first friend. You still are.
Really?
I mean, I got a couple of more friends now, but...
You've made one or two friends since then. You're
maybe three.
You're a very popular person, very larger than life for sure. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. I remember when I first met you, and it was back at like Nyepi.
Nyepi, the closest we came to a full lockdown in Bali, I'd say.
I think it was actually during lockdown as well, because it was only just me and you.
Lockdown.
It was me and you in this big, massive hotel, and we had it all to ourselves. So that was pretty cool because we got to know each other pretty well, obviously. And I think it's pretty cool because back then, my podcast was just a baby. It was just an idea. And I remember trying to show you some of the episodes that I'd filmed and some of the people that I had in mind. And I remember telling you like the ideas that I had for my podcast. And then I remember also you had an idea to start your own product or create your own product. And I remember it was just an idea at this point. You only had it like some things on a laptop. You had some renderings. You had some...
I had some graphic designs, but I didn't have like a physical product yet.
You never had the physical product, so I think it's really fucking cool.
And here we are, 8 months later.
Is it 8 months?
I think 8 or 9 months already.
Yeah, I think it's
been a while. Yeah, if we would have made a baby, it would be there now.
There you go.
We did not.
This is your baby.
This is my baby, and this is your baby.
Exactly. So we're here to talk about your... So what is this? Is this a card game?
Yeah, like a fortune teller or like proper Bali
tarot. I feel like you're about to read my future.
Yes, kind of. I mean, I'm not reading your future, but I'm definitely reading your brain and your personality and find out more about you. Cause
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
So that you haven't heard of.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, tell me more. What is this? So what's it called?
I love how you pretend to be super excited. You don't know what this is about.
I'm excited.
It's a card game. It's called iconnect, Make Connections Stronger Than Wi-Fi. And basically it's a set of conversation sparking questions that is meant to keep us away from our phones and have better and more meaningful conversations and deepen our relationships with the people behind the screen.
Intriguing.
Yes.
So when did you first have an idea to create a product based around this
thing? Journey has been on for some time because it's just, I think mostly when you create a product, it stems from an own personal need, and I feel like that's the case for that for sure. I just remember the first time actually I came to Bali like 4 years ago. I was like traveling, went to restaurants, went to all these nice places, and I always saw like couples sitting at restaurants just staring at their phone and like not talking to each other. I'm like, wow, you're in one of the most amazing places in the world with like the person you probably once thought is the most amazing person there is, and you have nothing to talk about. And that just really like frustrated me. And then I saw it more and more. Like I think once you see it, you can no longer unsee it. And I saw people like sitting next to each other, just hanging on their phones, not talking to each other. And I just like to focus on the bright things in life. So I thought instead of making phones more uninteresting, you just have to find a way to make people more interesting.
Yeah.
And therefore, we need to skip the small talk and actually trigger these interesting stories that people actually have to tell. I mean, especially when you're traveling, everyone experienced something. Everyone has a story worth telling.
For sure.
We just need to ask better questions. And that's basically when iconnect was born. It's just a set of really good questions.
How many questions have you got in this box?
Well, in total, it's 223 questions.
Yeah.
But they're based in like 6 categories.
So what are the categories? I know you've got the color coordinated here. So
every color category got a Wi-Fi bar on top. And then the higher the Wi-Fi bar, the deeper the level of the question and the stronger the connection. That's the idea behind make connection stronger than Wi-Fi. So it's not like very categorized in terms of like only childhood or only, I don't know, traveling. It's more about the depth of the question. So first level would be, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? I mean, it's no small talk, but it's also not digging really deep. And then...
Well, I mean, it's a simple question, but it's a question that many people would forget to ask.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor would probably be... there might be a bit of banana and chocolate in there. Maybe banana with like some chocolate... like with bits through it.
Yeah.
Would you call that? I don't know.
Chocolate
banana.
Is that a thing? Chocolate banana?
Yeah,
banana split?
Banana split's my favourite dessert.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, see?
It's not often I've told
something
someone
I did not know about
Not a lot of people know that. So there we go. The cards are already making a difference.
Yeah, I feel so connected to you now. Wow.
So was there one particular moment where you seen like a couple, or was it were you in the company of people where you felt like everyone was looking at their phones and I'm sick of this? Or, so it was one particular moment.
I think it was not one particular moment. It was more like I think it was multiple situations.
Maybe just caught your eye one time and then you noticed it again,
and
then you noticed it again. It just snowballed from there.
Let's say actually the breakthrough moment was probably like I noticed that it really bothered me, so I decided to write my master thesis about it.
Right. Okay, so what did you do your master's in? Like, what was
in communication.
Communications.
I did business bachelor's, and I was like, I think I'm not that much of a business asshole that I should be.
Okay.
Apparently, I am now. But then I switched to communication for my master's, and
So you've basically linked the communications with business and created this this card game. I like the fact that even the box looks like you've just bought a new iPhone.
I like things that confuse people.
It confuses me, and even the fonts that you've chosen, everything just looks like an iPhone. So people might pick this up by mistake and buy it by mistake.
It's like I thought it was a phone. Actually, I always have like 2 or 3 in my scooter, and then one time I parked my scooter, and then the beach parking guy just came over, and he thought I was like a freaking rich kid, like driving around with like 3 brand new iPhones in my little Scoopy.
Well, there's been a lot of bike break-ins in Bali. Can you imagine how gutted someone would be if they broke into your bike, thought they'd stole 3 phones, and they opened 3 packs of cards?
Karma is a bitch, honestly. If they do it,
funny.
and we're like, ooh, freaking nailed it, and then unpack it. I mean, I think it's even more valuable than a phone.
Yeah, for sure.
Because deep human relationships and connections, they are priceless.
So obviously means a lot to you then.
Yeah. It's my baby. It's like the first time that I've actually launched a product, and it was just the whole journey that led up to it that was super duper exciting, and it means a lot to me because I also already felt the effect. Like when I play it, I feel like maybe it's also that Bali time because we've all been stuck here kind of. So I feel the connections we made here are probably closer anyway.
For sure.
But now, like really finding out more about another person and like connecting on a much deeper level. It's just a game changer, literally. Like
for sure. I mean, I don't know all the questions. I remember when you had them, and I think it was like a Google Doc or something back then.
Yeah.
And I remember you asking me something. I was like, Jesus, these are deep. Like I can't remember the last time I had a conversation like this with someone. So, I mean, I'm definitely sure that this would provoke a few conversations between couples, families, friendships that may never have been been that deep before. You know.
There's actually even like for couples, there's an extra section. That's the 36 questions to fall in love.
Okay.
And that's based on a study by the State University of New York. They actually facilitated it in a laboratory and made complete strangers like ask these questions in a chronological order. And they're based on, I think is it like privacy, intimacy, vulnerability. So they're increasing the depth and then build up on each other. And it's been proven that they actually fell in love, like complete strangers, and it also helps to like reignite the fire among long-time partners.
Which is, I think, is probably needed now more than ever, especially during 2020.
Yeah. I mean, it was never my plan to like bring it out in peak of lockdown or something. Like when I first thought of it, Corona wasn't a thing yet. Yeah. But I feel especially for that, it's amazing. I played like some cards with my friends on Zoom, like just on the phone, like over.
What did they think?
They loved it. Like friends that I haven't talked to in quite some time, and normally you have like the proper, update, catch up. What have you been up to lately? And then we started playing these cards, and I think one question was, what would you change about what is one thing you would change about the way your parents raised you?
Fucking hell.
And that was like really deep, and which is
a few tears were shed, maybe.
Almost, really? Yeah. Like it went really deep, and the idea is basically that you should never make it through all the questions. Like it's more like conversation sparking. So you start with a question and then it just
goes on a tangent from there.
You completely forget the question at the end of the
That's really cool.
Like, oh, what was the question again? Once I brought it to like a dinner party with like my friend invited me, but it was just his friends basically, and I brought the game. And the question was, I think, what was the worst date you've ever had? And we were 8 people on that table, and it took us an hour and a half to get through this question.
Really? So many stories.
Yeah,
really?
It was so good. And after that, I felt like, whoa, I knew these people for like all my life. Yeah. Strongly connected after knowing their worst date stories.
It's really cool because there is a lot of times you go out for dinner and you talk about the same shit.
Yeah.
As you say, like what you've been up to. It's really surface level stuff. It's not really deep, meaningful conversations. Yeah. It's a really fucking cool concept. So have you had any challenges along the way? Because obviously this is your first ever product and it's a physical product. Digital products are a bit easier to sell because you don't need inventory. You don't need to worry about quality control and stuff like that. So how difficult has it been creating a physical product?
To be honest, it's been surprisingly easy, actually.
Really?
Like I was reading about all this whole like entrepreneur, like waste and roller coaster ride, different phases. And I just had a chat with my friend yesterday. I was like, actually, it's been a constant high.
Really?
Like,
it's maybe just you.
I don't know.
The universe is giving back.
That could be. But actually for now, it's the first time since we launched it that I felt like, all right, now I do feel I'm going a bit through the motions because we launched a crowdfunding campaign. Yeah. So I produced the first 100 here in Bali.
100 boxes.
100 boxes. Right. So Bali people, save it now. And then I want to produce like the big production, like push the button for the big production.
What do you have in mind for a big production?
1,000 units.
1,000?
1,000.
And where would you try and sell these? Would it be a worldwide thing?
Worldwide.
Really?
Yeah. So I got a factory in China that would produce the cards and then got a warehouse there so they would ship it out. So it's all like completely outsourced so they can ship it anywhere in the world. But I just need to make sure that I actually have enough people being interested in the product. So it's worth producing 1,000 and get it out there. So we started like a crowdfunding campaign.
So what's the crowdfunding campaign? What is it?
Crowdfunding basically means that you can come up with an idea for product, but if you don't like have the money yet, you kind of pledge it and suggest your idea, and then people who like your idea, who support it, they can already either like pre-order the product, and that's how you can collect the money. Or they can just support the idea. Like
give me a wee pledge.
Yeah, just be like, all right, here's
tenner.
€5. Yeah. I hope you can use it. I like the idea. Yeah. I hope it helps.
So how's that gone so far?
So we launched it last week. Yeah. And it's not bad, but I kind of, maybe it's because when you're working on it and it's your baby, you're like, this is the best idea I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
why is no one else jumping on it?
And then you keep on refreshing the button. I was like, every morning I wake up, I'm like, another 5,000. But it's not. Like we're in 700 now, but the goal is 3,333. 3,333. Okay. Yeah, we kind of believe in this whole numerology.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We wanted to launch actually on the 11/11/11/11. Right. But then technology wasn't on our
Good old fucking, listen, don't get me started in technology.
Nah, so
I'll be here for a while. That's a podcast on its own.
Oh, yeah.
A few issues with this podcast, but anyway. Back to you and your technology problems.
Well, then we launched 17/11 at 12:50.
Right, you're close. Not far off.
Wasn't as magical.
Just 6 days.
I thought we clicked a button and it's going to be live, but then crowdfunding or Kickstarter was like, we need 5 business days to review. And I was like, what?
Yeah. So these are all the issues that you encounter when you start these things. There's always going to be issues for sure.
Yeah, so I'm prepared now.
Right, okay. So the crowdfunding, it's what, like a third of the way? Something like that? No? Maybe not even that. How far? You see you've got 700 raised?
700, and we have, I think, 20 days to go.
Okay. Oh, so there's a time limit on it?
It's a timer. That's why it's like 30 days and otherwise people get their money back.
Right.
Like if we don't meet the crowdfunding goal, like
really?
the backers get their money back, and it's like
so
as if it never happened.
What if you're like 10 short? Like, what if you're like 100 short or 10 short of the target? Did they get the money back?
Well, there are ways. I mean, I could just, ask you. It's like, can you just
all right, I'll give you 100.
Pay an extra 20
yeah.
so we can meet the goal? Like that, obviously. Like if it comes that close, I would totally
just slip someone some money to put it in for you.
Yeah, right, like I'm not gonna not make it happen because I was 10 euros short.
So how are you marketing the product then? Because obviously you're needing to try and get it out there.
Yeah.
And so you get it in front of as many eyes as possible to try and obviously bring some backing in from crowdfunding and even just to sell them. So how are you getting on with the marketing? Because it's a whole different, again, with products, it's just a whole beast. You can't just be a master at creating a product. You need to know marketing, you need to know website building, you need to know social media, psychology, everything. So how are you getting on with all that?
So we created the website ourselves and did like the crowdfunding campaign, started social media marketing, whole digital marketing, like a few Facebook, Instagram ads. I think this is
getting attacked.
I'm getting attacked.
Good old Bali insects, they're getting attacked.
I think this counts kind of marketing because I know everybody is hearing that.
Oh man, so many
They're
people
gonna
hear this
podcast
now. Somebody's going to hear it.
And we're actually going to have a speed dating next week at Dreamwave Donuts. So this is going to, made to really connect people. That's the goal of the game, connecting people. And especially when it comes to skipping the small talk and helping people finding their last, Christmas, I don't know, mistletoe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time of year to kind of start a product, I guess, because everyone's in the market for filling their stockings and getting their kids something or their other half something. So it's a great time of year, I guess, to start a product and a crowdfunding. So hopefully you'll hit your target. I'm sure you will.
I hope so.
There's plenty of people here with big social media audiences and stuff like that. So again, just getting it out to as many people as possible here, getting them to promote it on their stories and it kind of
like
snowballs.
Influencers of Canggu.
Exactly.
Hit me up.
There's one or two of them here, I believe. So you
just
need to get it out to them, and all it takes is.
Yeah, it's a good hub to be, honestly.
For
like Bali is like the perfect place to launch a product because you're surrounded by people who are actually like very entrepreneur driven, like who. I met so many people who already launched for crowdfunding and stuff. And to be honest, back home, I wouldn't know a single person who ever launched something on crowdfunding. No. Plus, it's more like the experience. Then you got a bunch of like influencers actually after the reach, and they're very supportive, and it's like a great sharing community here. So people are very willing and open to help. Yeah. Plus, it's super easy, like creating something, launching something, like little things. But Bali's just make it so easy.
So this is the perfect place for you to launch this product. 100%. Then. Yeah.
So I was living in Australia before when I first thought of it, and that was more about creating the design, coming up with the questions. But I think it would have been a hell lot like more difficult, challenging, and probably big time more expensive to like produce a prototype there. Yeah. And here's like I just drive on my Scoopy, go to the local print shop, and be like, Wayan, can you edit? And it's like, yeah. So
you got these printed here?
I'm like,
the initial ones have all been printed here in Bali?
Yeah, 100%. Like even the photographer, videographer, everything is local. Yeah. So I was like,
that's really important here for sure. Giving back to the community, John.
Yeah, I thought that's my contribution to the local economy. It's just, creating everything here, paying it back to the community. I feel
Which is so important.
Yeah. Especially now. And
in an island that believes in karma.
Yeah.
You're earning a few karma brownie points, that's for sure.
What was funny? I played it with, like the beach parking guy. Yeah. Because he's so chatty. Like he always wants to talk to people. Yeah. And I feel like, he wants to skip the small talk, but he might need a tool. So I was like, Kadek, I think I have something to help you. And then since then, like I gave him like the very prototype of the first cards I've ever printed. So like quality-wise, it's been a different, but I mean, the questions were the same. Yeah. So I just gave him a bunch of cards. And I came back like, after beach walk, like an hour later, and he already told me like so many stories
really?
about, Phil from the UK, like if you could invent an own country, he would do like this. I know, actually, hold on. I came back and I wanted to chat with him, but he was like deep in a conversation with this French couple, and I just heard him walking away. He was like, Kanak, you should run for president. And I'm like, okay, I think this game works.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
that's really cool. So you're creating connections.
Yeah, it's in a few cafes and restaurants in Bali now, and it's kind of nice to see that without me being like a middleman, actually people, play it, they tag it, they like use the questions, even for their own social media marketing and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see that. It's not just my friends supporting me and be like, oh, my friend made a product, so I'm going to support it. It's also people actually liking it.
Yeah.
It's like they're not doing me a favor, they actually like it.
Yeah. It's like your ultimate goal to like walk into a cafe one day, just
and just
anonymously, and just see people playing it in the corner and think, I made that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Honestly, that feeling, I felt like holding my baby in my hands for the first time. Like I just looked at it, it was like, I made this.
Yeah.
And it was such a fulfilling feeling to have like created something, to brought something from like a visualization in your brain, like to an actual physical product that you're holding in your hand.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It's really exciting. It's cool. Again, I keep saying it, but it's really cool to see your idea come to fruition after it was just an idea 8 months ago. So it's incredible. Are you worried about the fact that obviously you've made the product here?
Yeah.
Are you worried about like the transition going from making it here to China?
I was considering like doing it 100% local,
Yeah.
and then just ship it from Bali, but
issues.
Yeah, like first of all that, and like shipping, for instance, is much easier from like a central warehouse. I think like Bali might not be the best place to ship some stuff, and it's like the mass production is like from an economic perspective.
Yeah, for sure. They've just got the infrastructure to deal with these things.
Yeah, as much as I want to give back to the local community, but in the end, I also have to consider that
it's a business. You need to make money.
Energy, but also I cannot just live from love and air and like give it out to the
world
and support everyone as much as I wish.
Aye.
No, sorry, China won.
So when do you think this product will be released? If it hits your target, when it hits your target?
Well, as soon as we hit the target, we're gonna press the button.
So before Christmas?
Yeah.
Because I can see this is like a card game. It's almost like Cards Against Humanity, that kind of similar concept.
Yeah, but not as naughty.
Well, it depends on the answers.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You know what I mean? There's some questions there that could produce some very naughty answers, I'm sure.
True, yeah.
But I can imagine this is a card game that would go well around like the dinner table at Christmas or New 100%. Year. Just the holidays would be a great card game to have for when friends and families and stuff get together, if they can get together.
Yeah.
This Christmas and New Year, we don't know if that's going to happen.
Like even online, like it's created to keep us away from like a online device and connect in the offline world. But I feel like in times of lockdowns, like it's still the purpose of it is like to connect people in a meaningful way.
I was going to ask you that because obviously this is a physical, tangible product. Yeah. Would it be ironic to change it, or not to change it, but to produce an app that has the questions?
I remember that you actually pitched that idea in March, and it's like, I think it would be much better if you just create an app on that. I mean, I would never say never. Yeah. But in order to stay like true to the values of the product and brand, I would actually say
app.
It could be an offline app. Like it only works when you put flight mode on or something. Like there would need to be some conditions. Yeah, I think it would not work without any conditions around it, because in the end it's like meant to keep us away from our phone. And if you like play it and you have like messages popping in and be like, still have to reply to that, it takes you out of the moment.
For sure.
And it's created because I felt like we're so present in the in the online world that we kind of miss out on the offline world. Like we're so busy catching up with everyone online and like liking pictures, maybe even pictures from strangers that we don't even know. And in the end, like we cannot even make like a real life compliment. Like how often do you walk over to someone and it's like, I think you're really beautiful. But on Instagram, you're like, fire, heart, ooh, that ass. Like you wouldn't do that in the offline world.
Yeah, for sure.
So therefore it's like, no, bring it back to...
I like that. I like the fact that you're going to stay true to its roots. and keep it offline or
Yeah.
keep it away from the mobile, because obviously in terms of making money and in terms of producing the product, it'd probably be so much easier just to create an app,
Yeah,
because there's no
100%.
inventory. It's just
Less
people digital
of a
downloads.
risk. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it could be like $1.99 for a download and that's
Yeah.
it, you know what I mean? But there's no inventory, there's no having
Yeah.
to get it shipped from China and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But fair play to you.
Living on the edge. That's what
Yeah,
I like.
no, that's important. That you've got to retain the soul of the product, you know,
Yeah.
because it's, I think in modern times there's a lot of fast fashion, a lot of people just trying to make quick money.
Yeah.
So this one's got a wee bit of soul, it's got a bit of purpose, and I think it's quite cool that you're going to stay true to its roots. For now.
Let's
see
see
you
how
get on.
long that lasts.
Yeah. Till you're
Maybe I
skint.
become this
Aye.
greedy business asshole at one point. But
Yeah,
for
like-
now,
For now.
I just want to
Until you're
create
bought by
authentic.
Until you're bought by Facebook.
And yeah,
Right, and then it all changes. Now, obviously, with this podcast, I always like to touch on like the mental health aspects of things, and I think there is
Yeah.
a mental health twist to this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Have you got your own ideas on that?
Yeah. I actually, so as I said, I wrote my thesis about, actually it's called fubbing, phone
That's
snubbing.
Yeah, you came up with this word, right?
I know, like it's actually like a social phenomenon that's been created, like when they I think in Sydney somewhere, when they created a dictionary and they needed to come up with a new word, so they just found a way to describe like a social phenomenon, and they were like, how about
So
we
it's
just
phone snubbing.
phone snubbing, but
Right,
it's
so
called fubbing.
Fubbing.
Like it's
So it's like you just put your phone away.
portmanteau. Yeah, it's like it's like blending of two words.
Yes.
Like basically the meaning of it is ignoring someone in the offline world because you're busy engaging in the online world,
Mm-hmm.
or like you're busy on your phone and therefore ignore the person you're with, and how that affects like human relationships, like conversation depth, like intimacy, bonding, all of that. So yeah, it's like the little things. You neglect eye contact when your phone is on the table and you see it lighting up. You look down.
Distracting, yeah.
It's distracting, and
Yeah.
it takes away. Now it's weird looking into your eyes when we talk about it, but in general, like it's also missing out on the nonverbal cues, because you also only have like a certain amount of cognitive resources for your brain to process whatever's going on, and if like 20% are on your phone, like you only listen with 80%, you know, like you miss out on microfacial expressions, like sound, tone of voice, someone's going up or down. It might change the entire meaning of what's being said.
Yeah. Do you think it creates a social anxiety?
Also, yeah,
Like
yeah.
things like that, because obviously we're so in tune to communicating via WhatsApp,
Yeah,
Facebook, whatever.
Totally.
So when we see each other face to face, there's this social anxiety because we
Yeah.
don't know how to communicate properly.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. And then whenever we feel insecure,
We look at our phones.
we look at our phones. It's
Yeah.
like we also kind of lost the ability to be alone with our thoughts. Like every time we have a blank space, we get exposed to the entertainment provided on our screen. Just like, don't know what to do with myself, you know, distraction.
Yeah.
And then we check what's going on online, and we unlearn how to be alone with our thoughts.
Which is
And then-
dangerous.
Super dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Plus, when it comes to relationship with other people, it's like basically what you do when you have your phone and talking to a person is like giving the person you're talking to the impression that whatever's going on the phone is more important than what you have to say. Like
Yeah.
my Instagram feed is much more exciting than the story of, I don't know.
Whatever you're talking about, basically.
Whatever you're talking
or even
about.
just being in your company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you don't have my full undivided attention. That's what you're expressing when you have like this external
Which can lead to
device there.
insecurities and
Yeah.
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 It's just snowball effects
Yeah,
mentally.
totally.
Yeah, so there's a huge mental health
Yeah.
aspect to when it comes to social interaction.
Yeah.
What else? Like, is there anything else that you learned in your thesis about?
Yeah, like as I said, I like to focus more on the positive aspects.
Yeah,
I don't
for
want to
sure.
talk like negative.
No, for sure. It's good to know how this card
Yeah.
game can help bring back the positive
Yeah.
aspects of interaction.
Yeah. Plus, like a positive thing is actually there's the longest study ever conducted. It was like a 75-year study about happiness by Harvard University, and they've been testing like what do people need in order to be happy, and it turned out that the only thing we really need in our lives, I mean, apart from like the basic needs like food and shelter and stuff, but it's actually deep, authentic, and meaningful relationships in our lives. So
Really?
that's the only thing we need. Like you can have all the money in the world, but if you feel this lack from inside because you don't have any fulfilling relationship in your life, you're not happy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's why I thought if that helps, it actually helps you make better, more meaningful relationships because you're having like more inspiring, like deeper conversations and really like connect with people on a deeper level. You become happier.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's like little things. But when I play it now, like people that I met maybe for 5 minutes in a coffee place, and we had a chat about what I was doing, and then played a question. One was just, I know what is it? If you were a fruit, what would you be? And he was like, I'd be a pineapple. So every time I saw him after that, I was like, hey, pineapple. And like,
you've got this connection there.
You got this connection.
Which you would never have had if you just had your phones out at that point in time.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, we're not getting married. It's not that deep, but.
Yeah, you create a bond in some way, shape or form.
You have this little like insider joke.
Which is so important.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
Or another time I was like, when was the last time you cried? So that was really deep because it's based on like rolling the die defines the category to be played. And then I stood there with this girl I've never met in my life before, and we talked about like the last time we cried. Right. I was like, wow, this is really deep. But after that, it's like you really open up to being vulnerable, to like, you know, like let down your guard. Yeah. And you don't have to, like you can modify. So you only play like level 1, 2, 3 if you say like, all right, just don't want to go that deep, and it's perfectly fine. But you have the chance to go deep. And most of the people actually do it the other way around. It's like, oh, let's skip level 1, 2, 3. I just want to go like deep shit.
Fair enough. Do you worry about, like, obviously you'll have certain target audiences, I'm sure. Do you worry about the younger generation because they are so engrossed with their phones? It's like they've grown up.
Yeah.
Babies are handed tablets these days just to watch Disney Channel or whatever. So do you worry about your target audience, especially the younger generation, whether they will take to something like this or not? Because it does involve putting down their phones.
Well, they only have to be old enough to read.
Right,
They can read the questions. Considering the depth of some of the questions, I think you have to be like at least probably like 15 or 16 to be able to like process that. But other than that, like, I know you always have to come up with this target audience when you launch a product, but I was like, actually, it's for everyone.
Everyone who has a mobile phone.
Everyone who's, even like for my grandparents, and there's no age, there's no...
I bet they could give some really good fucking answers to these questions. Especially the older generation, they've got some stories to tell.
Especially when it goes deep, it's like the life lessons you've learned.
I mean, I guess the aspect of targeting the younger audience could be play this with your grandparents. Learn a bit about them. You know? Because they're not going to text you. Well, my gran texts me, to be honest, but they're not going to like your picture on Instagram and stuff like that. So it could be a great way to connect with like your elders, even your parents as well. You know?
I played it with my parents. Time at the airport. Like we had to wait for 5 hours, and we're like, oh, let's just play some questions. And I was amazed. You thought actually you knew your parents for all your life, and there's not a thing you don't.
In the closet.
And then suddenly I was like, Dad, you won like a painting contest when you were 5? Like you really, like, I love him to bits, but he's not the greatest artist.
Yeah. And this would have been something you probably would never have found out about.
Never. Or like, what was your first kiss like or something? It's funny because you kind of, you meet your parents as parents, so they're kind of adult, mature, like, but
it gives them a human aspect.
Like, I don't know, I had braces and I was very nervous and like, wow, you were young once upon a time.
You're an actual human at one point.
Yeah, like facing the same, like whatever insecurities or whatever we're facing when we're in our teenage years. We forget that our parents had that too. It was like a time age before us. And that's why I love it.
So you think this is a good thing for mental health then?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it also... it helps you to connect with other people, but especially for like the 5th category, it really helps you to connect with yourself as well.
Which is so important.
Yeah, it's so important to like, because when you play, you like both people answer. So you also, have to ask yourself these questions. It's like, oh, what are my core values or something? And you really find a way of, think about yourself and being kind of forced, but in a positive way, to like ask yourself questions that you wouldn't ask otherwise. So I think it really helps you to find out a lot about yourself, to understand yourself better. And I think that sets the foundation to also like have better relationship with other people. Like once we know what we stand for, it's easier to like attract our tribe and like figure out like who do I actually want to hang out with, who inspires me, like who thinks the way I do and who is maybe completely not for me, not my cup of tea.
For sure. Have you become more disciplined with your phone since creating this game?
Ironically, my phone has been stolen.
Again?
Again. And so that was right before the launch. So I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to get a new phone. So I went offline for like 4 weeks. So I didn't have a phone for like 4 weeks. And now I just got one again. But yeah, I usually leave my phone in my pocket when I'm meeting my friends.
Right.
Like, unless I'm expecting, or I have to be like reactive for work or something, or like somebody's expecting me to reply. But then I always make sure that I point it out to the person I'm with. It's like, hey, I'm expecting a call or something, that they don't think like I'm just looking at my phone because I'm hoping something more exciting is gonna pop up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's more that like, hey, I'm expecting something, being reactive, but not proactive and just sitting there like, all right. So
does it now bother
how did
you?
your date go?
Does it now bother you when you go out for like dinner and things and people are maybe sat on their phones?
Yeah,
Does
but
it?
funnily, it's a like positive ripple effect because people know that I'm now like.
Yeah, they're like, shit, Nini's here. Fuck. Put your phone away.
Yeah.
Put your phone away. She's
And
judging us.
I never say anything, but
Yeah.
funnily they start to like, like defend themselves and be like, oh, well, I just quickly have to look this up. I'm like, it's all right. You don't need to like.
Make people feel awkward at the dinner table with their phones.
But I don't
Just,
say
like, sneak
anything.
out.
Yeah, but like it's I think it just creates the awareness.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is
good.
all you want, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to sell some
Yeah,
products,
like
make
it's
some money.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think if it stems from the right motivation, and I feel like it's very, very purpose driven.
Yeah.
Like as I said, in the end, I cannot live from love and air. If I could, I would just
You'd be a
give it out
millionaire.
to the world.
You'd be a fucking millionaire, Nini, if you did.
But I think if this is successful, I'm actually gonna make some money from it. I make money because I created, like, the more money I make, that means the more people's life I positively impact.
For sure.
And that's the impact I want to have.
It's only going to have a positive impact,
Yeah.
that's for sure. There's
Yeah.
no negative impacts to this. Unless
Yeah.
someone asks a question, they get an answer they don't like, then that
Yeah,
could be...
like, but maybe then, if a couple breaks up because of these questions, like maybe you weren't compatible in the first place. So I just help you.
you get to get some feedback. Have you had some feedback from people that have played it, like, without you being in their presence and stuff? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is extremely positive.
Right.
Like people.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
for
like.
sure.
Yeah, like just especially when it comes to bonding with their partners or even their parents, and it's like us played it as housemates, and it was just very, very cool. And it feels like you don't, after playing the game, you don't look at the people the same way anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you feel like you know something about them that a lot of other people don't know. And that's like the connection that it forms. And then it doesn't take much time. It can be one question and you're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
I just feel that spark, because it's not a secret, but that is something that's like special that you're sharing it now, because like all the other people in the room don't know that whatever banana chocolate is your favorite ice cream flavor. I'm like, I know.
Banana chocolate.
Yeah.
Banana split.
Banana split. Yeah.
What's the most controversial card in that pack in terms of a question?
Ooh.
There's a question for you.
That's a good question. Because it's 223 questions.
Is there no one, like, I'm not going to put you in the spot, but is there
Okay,
like one
then
that
I have to-
sticks out that you would always refer back to as your favourite question or the most controversial question? Or the others are just a collection of controversial and great questions in there?
I think there are a lot of questions that.
So there's no one in particular that's your favourite?
No. I really like category 5 because
Yeah.
that's very self-reflective. So the questions
So
like.
yeah, let's go through the colours then. So you've got yellow.
yeah.
So what is the...
Yellow is like first level basically. So
Yeah.
that's more about your preferences, like whatever, your ice cream flavor, what's your favorite sleeping position or
Easy
something.
questions.
Like you
Not
still
too
have
deep.
to think.
Yeah.
And you're like questions you probably don't really ask yourself, but they're not really deep.
Right,
so
this is
it's
the warm-up.
like, yeah, this is the
Just
warm
getting
up.
limbered up.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't make yourself like vulnerable and be like, wow, like it's tapping deep down.
Yeah.
But you still have to think, because it's like, it's not those small talk questions. Like it also takes me a couple of seconds to go through all the ice cream flavors I like and then pick my favorite.
Right, okay. So how do you progress from, say, obviously you go up each bar, how do you progress? Is there a game to it?
Yay! So actually just
there you
roll
go.
a die and you're like, oh, level 2.
Level 2. So
And
this
you're
would be
playing.
green.
It's level, or then you start asking that question. Normally, like they're upside down, so you wouldn't see the question yet.
Yeah, and you've got a wee egg timer here.
So that's a wee. I still love the wee. A word that I learned from Jamie. It means little.
Little, yeah. It doesn't mean to pee,
I'm
which a lot
quickly
of people...
translating.
Yeah.
So we got one kind of joker card. Not joker card, but it's a timer card.
Yeah.
I'll find it. That looks like something you might have come across if you're single. Hold on, where is it? This one.
Right.
Timer card. So it looks like Tinder.
Ah, it's a timer.
Timer,
right.
Tinder.
Got it. Good.
And
good.
it's the quick 5. So you have like
is there one of these in each
yeah.
color?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's hidden somewhere.
Right.
And so is it a match?
Hey, I
They
like
have to
it.
figure out, and it's like the quick 5. So it's like this or that question. So it would be, I don't say all of them, but it's like sweet or salty popcorn, and like whatever, snow or beach holiday or something. So it's like this or that.
Yeah.
So you
Sweet
figure
beach.
we're compatible.
There you go. There we go.
Yeah. Apple or Android?
Oh, Apple.
Okay. Rave or throwback party?
Throwback party.
I probably go for a rave.
Ah, never mind.
Sometimes I need a rave in my life. Okay, important. Clapping when the plane landed, yes or no?
Absolutely fucking not.
Absolutely fucking yes.
No. You're not a plane clapper, are you?
I'm a freaking starter. I start the clap.
Oh my, you're right. If I knew that before, we would not be doing this fucking podcast.
At least we can
I don't
share
want-
sweet popcorn. Absolutely. Yes, I love to make other people feel
Oh,
good.
you'll be the first and last plane clapper that I
Yeah,
get on
I'm
this
like-
podcast, that's for sure.
Standing ovation. It's like, woo, the best pilot I've ever had.
Unbelievable.
So actually then, if you have more than 3
Yeah.
answers in common, then you would compliment each other. It's like, I really like your fresh new haircut.
Thank you. I really like your fresh new haircut also.
It's been a few months, but thank you.
Right,
It's
okay,
fresh.
there you go. There you go.
And if you have less than 3 in common, you have to add your own question.
Right, okay.
So, but we were...
So what is the purpose of this wee timer thing?
Yeah, it's a quick 5, so you have a minute to
Oh,
answer
right,
these
so this is a
questions.
minute worth of sand in this wee
It's a
thing.
minute worth of sand. Because basically, the idea behind is that you always try to like explain yourself.
Yeah.
Why you? I mean, that's level 1, but it goes all the way to like level 6, where you're actually getting to this more like philosophical questions and stuff. So you basically just try to explain it, but you run out of time. So
Right,
this is
okay.
really like, okay, hurry up. This
That's
is
a
like,
clever twist.
you know, like clapping when the plane landed. We could actually have like an hour-long discussion.
Oh, we could.
All right, I think it's the last time we spoke now.
Yeah, so let's
You're
let's
freaking
wrap this
no
up.
clapper.
Yeah,
I
let's
can't
fucking
believe
wrap
it.
this thing up now. So we've got so yellow. That's just
Yes.
like the warm up. Green,
Yeah.
what's green?
Green is more like a bit more childhood reflect. Not all of it, but kind of, you know, what's the craziest fashion trend you ever rocked or something? It's more like going back, it's
Nostalgic
explaining
stuff.
Nostalgic stuff, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nostalgic. It's not like old childhood, but more like looking back. It's like back in your teenage days, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, what you were very embarrassed of, you thought was cool back
Well, it
then.
sparked
now
some
you're
really
like, what-
fun memories, some
Yeah.
embarrassing memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it's still not like, I mean, in Bali we're very used to talk about our inner child.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Right, okay. Your actual child.
can.
Yeah.
You can, but it's more about, back in the days.
Yeah.
What were you before we met? Because
Right.
I feel like here we always meet, and when you meet people, especially new people, you get to know them at like the age and the state and the status they're in now.
Yeah.
But there's actually been a whole lifetime before
Huge
that.
lifetime that's
Yeah.
led them to this point for
Yeah.
sure.
I remember you were like on your way to become a soccer pro.
Yeah, I was like,
so
I was a professional footballer, then I was
Yeah.
like a gas engineer,
yeah,
and I lived in London.
See?
Yeah, it's been a few.
traveled the world.
Travel the
It's like,
world.
There was a Jamie before Bali, before
I?
quarantine.
It really was, yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago, but there was, yeah. Right, so what about orange? Should we move on to orange?
So orange is then going like a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
and that's more about what makes you, like a bit more like into what defines your personality. It's like, what podcasts do you listen to? Maybe Jamie Wee's podcast.
Fucking better be.
And but it's still not super deep, but then you're expressing more about like your
Likes and interests
personality,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or like about the way you think, some interests, and
Right.
that's like going a bit deeper, and you're like, like putting off all the layers, and it's going like layer by layer.
Right, okay. And then we move on. Is that pink? I'm a bit colourblind, so I think that's pink.
That's a very cool, I mean, they're all cool.
Yeah.
But pink is more like imaginative scenarios. So it's like, if you could invent a drug, which effect would it have? It's more like, if
Or creative.
creative is like if there was like another species, do you think there's like life on other planets? How do you think they be like? So it's more about triggering like how do you see the world and like what would you like change. It's going deeper, but you still like it's more you're talking about ideas and belief systems, but you don't really expose like yourself,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Which leads us on to blue.
Blue. So blue is quite deep already. So that's level 5 out of 6. And that's really about like reflecting on yourself. Like what makes you you, like who's inspiring you, what are your core values, about like, let's say what makes you fall in love with someone. It's like really like going that level deeper. And that's really the category to connect with yourself as well. Like that's the questions you could even play, like just sitting in a nice cafe place with your journal on a Sunday, do like a self-care Sunday and answer these questions to yourself and like journal about them.
Thought-provoking,
Interesting.
And what is this? We've got 2 piles left, but they've got is that purple?
And purple. So that's more reflecting on life,
right?
About yourself and on life. So that's like, if you had the chance, would you want to know the day you die, and like the life lessons that you've learned. And that's also really opening up to vulnerability. Like, what are your insecurities? What situations make you feel a bit, I always struggle with that word, uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Comfortable.
Is that another German word then?
It's comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like going quite deep then, and then it's also more about sharing with the other person. So let's say, what is one thing you can learn from me, something you always wanted to tell me. So that's really about connecting then with the other person. So that's the deep shit.
Okay, that's the stuff that really reveals a lot about yourself and potentially others.
But that's how you really connect.
Right.
And then the last one is like the 36 questions.
So this is the one from is that the Harvard study you spoke about? Yeah,
exactly. And you have to play, like for the rest, it doesn't matter. You can just, swap around. But these, they actually have to be played in a chronological order.
Right, so there's a system to it.
They're building up on each other,
Very psychological.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you have to, did you see you have to have, like, keep eye contact pretty much the whole time?
After the 36, I think for 4 minutes.
4 minutes, just like stare at each other.
So I wonder, maybe it was just the eye contact to make them fall in love, because I think if you stare at someone's eye for 4 minutes, you'll be freaking deeply connected.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time I stared in someone's eyes for 4 minutes without saying a word.
I once went to this eye gazing event, and then
was it in Bali by any chance?
No, it's actually Melbourne in Australia.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and
How was that?
It was deep. Like, you feel like you're looking. They say like the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah.
And now it's so weird looking into your eyes, because they talk about that.
Yeah.
I think I see your soul.
There's a dirty soul in there. You don't want to look in there too deep.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I figured out it's one of my useless talents. I'm surprisingly good at holding eye contact with strangers.
Not a lot of people can hold eye contact these days, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of people really insecure.
Possibly, and again, I think it might come down to being on the phone so often.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you always look away. You're always looking at someone's eyes is quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
There's no way to escape.
Yeah, I know. It's like, fucking, what are they looking at? Stop looking at my soul.
Where could I look now?
So, do you think we should play maybe a couple of cards before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Which ones do you want to go for?
Okay, I think you roll it up.
Okay, I'll roll this dice.
2.
Is that green?
Okay. The question is,
yeah,
what's the craziest fashion trend you ever rocked?
The craziest fashion trend? I wouldn't call it a fashion trend, but at high school, I used to have this haircut.
Very excited here. The rat tail?
No, it was worse. Well, it could be considered a rat's tail.
Yeah? I never understood how you actually get it. Do you go to a hairdresser and be like, cut everything but that tail?
This is like folklore in my family, especially if you were to ask my mum, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom. I used to have a haircut back in high school where I would shave my head, but I would keep my fringe.
Oh, you did not do that.
I done that at high school. And then I would buy, like, there's a shop in the UK, like Tesco and Asda and stuff like that. I don't know what you've got in Germany. Maybe like a Walmart or something. I don't know. And I would buy like this really cheap, like, fucking green gel. So I would like gel my fringe.
No, but I actually want to.
Honestly, I actually looked alright considering. I was. It was,
And you thought you were like a really good catch.
It was a bit of a trend, you know. But I used to like. So I used to get my mum to shave my head, so I would like hold the fringe. And get my mum to like shave the rest, and she was like, "Just let me shave that fucking fringe." I was like, "No, I want to keep my fringe." So then I would like gel it for school and stuff like that.
But like, what for? So it's not like flying around, or it's just.
I would gel it.
So
Like, pretty much, I'd be like gelled to my forehead.
Oh shit.
Talking about it, I'm really embarrassed now because I've not spoke about it for so long.
Blast of the past.
And I do not know what the fuck I was thinking with that haircut. I was definitely the only one in school, I think, at that point that was rocking that shitty
Very
haircut.
Individual
For sure. So I wouldn't call it a fashion trend because I wasn't
a trend.
wearing
You're
it.
the only one doing.
I was wearing a fucking fringe. So I would say that would be my answer.
How did the ladies react?
I was never really. I mean, I got attention at school. I was never really interested in girls at school because I was so into my football.
So you do your fringe.
And my fringe.
Girls.
Yeah, that was like my barrier between me and the
fringe.
girls. You know, I'm only interested in football girls. This fringe is to keep you guys out.
Okay, but
So,
that probably made you even more interesting to them.
Perhaps. I mean, I definitely had interest for sure when I was at school.
Must have been the fringe.
Yeah. I think I would have had more interest probably without the fringe for sure. I was only ever in love with football when I was at school, so I wasn't too interested. I never paid too much attention to that.
Okay, fair enough. Probably the only one in your football team with this cool little fringe.
I can guarantee that, yes. Aye. Right, so what happens now?
Actually, you would then ask me, and you?
Oh, and you, right, sorry, right, okay.
Oh, good.
And you, Nini? What is the craziest fashion trend you have ever rocked?
Thanks for being so genuinely interested in
Sorry,
that.
I didn't know how it worked. Sorry,
sorry. I'm just joking.
Fuck you, Nini. Let's just talk about me.
It's just on a side note, I actually also created that because sometimes I ended up on dates and I felt like I think I'm good in keeping up conversations, but I was like literally like guys only talk about themselves and like did not ask a single question.
Really?
I'm like, it was nice. They were interesting people. So it's like, I'm still interested to hear their story, but I think it just requires some emotional intelligence to be like, to notice that you just took like 99% of the conversation part. So like maybe ask a question. So it's like with that, it kind of forces people who only talk about themselves to actually ask a question in return.
Right, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that.
No, that's okay.
And you, Nini? Let's talk about your fashion trends.
I think same for me. It was probably never really a trend.
Yeah.
Because but I really loved SpongeBob t-shirts.
Is this a recent thing? Or?
Like, I probably would still wear them.
Really?
Yeah.
In fact, I think that would probably be considered cool now, I guess.
Yeah, probably now it's cool.
Came full circle, you know.
Yeah, maybe now it would be cool. But like my best friend and me, like she was always Patrick and I was SpongeBob. So we like this dream team. She had the Patrick shirt, I had the SpongeBob shirt. And everything had to be super colorful. Like I even had like my Converse, like 2 different colors. One was green, one was pink. And then I was wearing like tank tops in like blue and yellow and stuff. Like I looked as if I fell into a color pod, but
very much like your personality then, because you've got a colourful personality, that's for sure.
And looking at the cards now, like I think I haven't evolved much since.
No, I mean
the last 12
all I see
years.
is colour. Yeah.
Maybe I fell in a pot of acid when I was a baby.
You've never come out.
Never come out.
You're still deep inside there. That's interesting. That doesn't surprise me, but yeah, that's interesting.
Like I would say blast of the past, but actually looking at my style now, I'm like, I'm still very colorful.
I would not be surprised if you've got a SpongeBob t-shirt in that
I still
that
have
wardrobe.
it in my closet back home.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, it's came full circle, so maybe you were a trendsetter.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's who I was.
Yeah. So we do one more.
Okay.
I think we're about 53 minutes here, so it's...
Yay.
Let's go. Let's make it a... Oh, fuck.
What is it? Tension is rising.
Level
4.
4. Right, okay.
All right.
Which one's that? This is pink.
Pink. If you could invent a drug, which effect would it have?
A drug?
A drug, yeah. Don't take drugs.
I don't take drugs.
It's like
only the good ones.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Drugs are not good for your health. But what would you do?
What would I do if I could invent a drug?
Yeah.
What effect would it have? Interesting. I mean,
the thing that I would like to be able to just flick a switch and feel would probably be, I don't know, maybe less anxious or less, I don't know. Yeah, probably less like anxious. But I think there's definitely drugs that are available for that.
Yeah.
And no ones that I would ever take. So I don't really know in terms of what effect that I would like or an effect that I would require in my life.
Maybe kindness.
Kindness? I'm a kind man. I'm a kind guy.
Yeah, you are. But maybe if you could just like microdose everyone every day.
I mean, microdosing for sure. I would microdose in a lot of things if they were if there was a pill form. But I think, maybe more creative. I feel like if I could take a pill to be more creative, I feel like I'm deep inside, I'm very creative, but it only ever comes out in short bursts.
Yeah.
And it's usually actually when I feel really down or really fucking low, I feel very creative in that moment.
It's like a rock bottom moment.
Aye, so maybe it'd be nice to be creative without having to be fucking depressed. That'd be quite cool.
That'd be a great drug. Yeah.
What about you?
It's funny because I made all these questions, but I still have to really think about the answer. Maybe, I don't know, that would be probably more like a superpower, but that you could see people's inner beauty.
Right.
You know, sometimes like you look at a person and be like, oh, very beautiful from the outside, but I wish they had like a light around them so you could tell like maybe in percentages or just like a shining light around them that would reflect their inner beauty. Right. So I'd say when they're yellow, they're like shiny, radiating, like positive.
So you can see if they were ugly or beautiful inside.
Yeah, but I don't know if that drug could create that or that would be more like a superpower.
Oh, that's a super. I mean, it depends on the strength of the drugs, I guess.
Or maybe
if it was in mushroom form, it might work.
Yeah, oh well. When Mom and Dad should not be listening, but when I tried mushrooms once in my life.
Yeah, by mistake.
Oops.
Right.
What is that? Yeah. Just ate some cow poo. I actually could see like energy colors around people. I'm like, oh, you're yellow, you're green, you're blue. And when I see these people now, I'm still like seeing the same.
Maybe that's what you were seeing.
Yeah. So maybe, but it's more about, I think, their energy field or something.
Yeah.
So there's, I don't know if you know about these like 4 different color categories of like personality types basically. So that's more what I see, like blue are more perfectionists and like yellows are really like enthusiastic and stuff.
Yeah. So
that's what I could see.
Right.
See? That's pretty cool, but I don't know how accurate it was. I mean, it's visuals.
Sounds accurate. So if you could take a drug, let's just say mushrooms, and you could see people's energies and their inner beauty, then that's what that would be.
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Well, sometimes I think if people would just speak their truth,
right?
Because I always feel like when you have a conversation, there's something going on in the outer world, but there's also like a whole inner world going on. And sometimes it's not really like in alignment.
Yeah.
But then the question is like, would we really want to know?
Yeah.
You know, like if people always spoke their truth.
There's a film with Ricky Gervais, you know, guy that plays David Brent in The Office and stuff like that. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah.
It's called I think it's called The Invention of Lying.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched that one, but what is it about?
I think the movie's just based around the fact that everyone in life just tells the truth, and he invents lying. So he's the first person to ever lie in the world.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's a pretty cool movie. It's a really cool concept because he basically just starts off his life. Or the movie starts off where he's just walking around and everyone just speaks the truth. No one knows how to lie. No one has ever lied.
Yeah.
And then one day he goes into the bank. I think he's broke.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. He goes into the bank and I think he's broke. And the teller's like, "Oh, the system's down. Can you tell me how much money you've got in your bank?" And I think he had like $5 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's probably not this, but something. And he's like, "Oh, I've got $1,000. They're like, "Oh, no worries. Here you are." Because they just believe him because everyone speaks the truth.
Yeah.
So that was like his first lie, and then it kind of snowballs from there.
What's the name of the movie?
The Invention of Lying.
The Invention of Lying.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah?
It's Ricky Gervais.
Add it to my movie list.
It's just a clever concept. I've never seen that before, where everyone just tells their truths.
Yeah. The question is like, could you handle the truth?
Well, that's what it really exposes is how much lies we tell every day.
I forgot the number, but I once read it, like how many lies we tell on a daily basis. And then they did this experiment of like making people not lie for an entire day or something. Yeah. How hard it was. Like it starts with like, how you doing? And we always say fine,
good.
but
How
maybe
are you?
yeah, maybe you're not good.
Yeah.
We actually did that yesterday with my friends. We went for breakfast and it's like, how do you really feel? And then everyone was like, actually, I woke up this morning and like, it's like, shit, I think I overslept and what I'm doing with my life. And it's like, oh, this is like now, speaking the truth.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are also white lies. If you ask someone like, do I look fat in this dress? I don't know if I wanted to know the truth.
Well, I think that's what happens in this movie. Like, people call him fat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, just because people are just telling the truth. There's no white lies. There's no any lies.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool concept.
Oh, I gotta watch that movie.
Yeah, especially if you want to create a drug where people tell their truths. It could be.
It's like a kind truth.
Yeah, kind truth.
Maybe can we put conditions on it?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's not like the nasty truth. It's like, you suck, you look fat. Like,
there's that. Like that's in the movie as well, I think.
Yeah.
Some really harsh truths, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good movie, so that'd be a good drug to have, potentially. Sometimes you don't want to hear the truth.
We still don't take drugs, right?
No, we don't take drugs, absolutely
Disclaimer.
Not even paracetamol when I'm having a sore head. But I think we can wrap up like that. I think we've got plenty of information out of you. And I've learned a lot about this game again.
Yeah.
I heard the early concept. I came to your launch thing and seen all the work that you put in, which is really cool. But seeing it tangible here and listening to you talk about it, it's a really cool fucking concept and one that I thought I really hope is a success for you for sure. But if anyone wants to find out more information on it, like, why don't you plug the shit out of this thing right now?
100%. You're plugging the shit out right now. So on Instagram, it's iconnect, stronger than Wi-Fi. And then on Kickstarter, it's kind of the same, like iconnect. That's like the most traffic we need is really now on Kickstarter to hit our crowdfunding goal. So any support helps, even if it's like €1, 2, 3, or whatever your currency is.
Yeah.
That would help a lot. And then plus share, like even if you can't contribute like a single cent, like sharing is caring. Drive traffic to the site.
So what is your website?
iconnect -stronger-than-wifi.com.
iconnect
-stronger-than-wifi.
-stronger-than-wifi.
It's a long one.
Right.
We thought about.
I think I'll put this link in the description for this one. I think.
We thought about just doing like iconnect the game.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think the game is the first product. But then in the long run, we think about like retreats, like digital detox retreats and stuff like that. So it's more than just a game.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to just like pin it down to game only. So that one leaves a bit more room for new products, new ideas around that, because I think it's a lot of things that we can create to make this world a more meaningful, connected place. And that's just a start. And also a lot of iconnects have been taken. So
yeah, I can imagine it's quite
it's not the most original name.
Common name for sure.
But definitely for an offline card game, I think.
For sure. So if people want to find out like more information or potentially buy the product as well, can they do that through the website? Have you got like Shopify linked and stuff?
It's Shopify's linked,
right.
But for now it's all just leading them back to Kickstarter so they can pre-order.
Right.
And then as soon as we produce it, it's probably going to be produced anyways.
Right.
So, like, if you back it, you're actually going to get it.
I'll try and get this podcast out before the thing.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, cool.
Aye.
And any, like, influencers in the world, hit me up. You get a free one. And
just for a wee bit of promotion.
Yeah, I'd be super grateful for that.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you very much, Nini, for coming along and
thanks for having me.
Sharing your game. I'm very excited for you. It's really cool to see.
Thank you. Actually, side note, first time we met and you told me about your podcast, I was like, I want to be on this podcast.
Really?
I want to be interesting enough to be a guest.
Well, here we are.
So thanks for the motivation.
You manifested the shit out of that, and here we are. I've got my podcast up running. You've got your cards here, and we've done it.
High five for that.
We've came full circle.
Far since pineapple and coconut.
And pineapple. I still can't remember the name of that place that we stayed, but that was fun. That was fine. It's really cool to see how far we've both come in this pandemic. So
that is true.
Congratulations.
We're proud of ourselves.
Absolutely. Well done, Jamie.
Well done, Jamie.
I'll end it on that. So I'll just end by saying this is a wee podcast with big subjects and huge personalities.
Boom.
With a touch of Scottish humour. Thank you, Nini.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Not a problem.
Loved it.
Thank you. I would like to thank my one patron, Stephanie, who has continued to show me love and support throughout the rebranding process. Now, if you would like to become a patron or you would like more information on becoming a patron of Jamie's Wee Podcast, then head over to patreon.com/Jamie's Wee Podcast.
There are a number of benefits, including shoutouts, stickers, t-shirts, amongst much more, so please go and check that out. Alternatively, you can show support for Jamie's Wee Podcast by buying me a beer. That's right, you can buy this Scotsman a beer through the platform buymeacoffee.com/wee podcast. Check it out for more details. If you would like to be kept up to date with all things Jamie's Wee Podcast, including brand new episodes, or you just want a free sticker pack which can be used on your Instagram stories, then check out jamiesweepodcast.com/mailing-list. Now don't worry if you can't remember any of that, then just head over to jamiesweepodcast.com where you will find all information discussed on this episode.